Welcome back. Got a windy day on our hands today, as you know, not my favourite. And also, I must confess, I'm slightly finding it hard to motivate myself to do the job that I have to do today because it's a bit of a biggie. It's going to be a bit of a pain. Let's go and quickly have a look. In essence, it's a continuation of the work I have been doing previously on this section of the garden. There's a footpath here. This is what I call the deciduous walk. So we've got an ash here, the liquid amber there, and the pin oak there, which I think has died. Anyway, that's by the by. This all sprouted up after the fire. It didn't used to look like this, and I didn't really like how it looked and the repercussions of it being so overgrown. So I spent some time clearing out a lot of this, and I'll get my new tool soon, and then I'll be able to finish the job off properly. I haven't taken out everything, but a lot. But what faces me is this absolute jungle. And I'm really not looking forward to this because it's going to take ages. Some of those jobs where you feel like you've been at it for hours and you look at what you've achieved and it will feel like nothing. But I just don't want this. This is awful. It's very dangerous, and I think it's not even attractive to look at. So my job for today, and probably the day after and the day after and the day after, is dealing with this. I sort of can't be bothered, but pull my socks up and just get on with it.
I'm driving home on this rather windy night, and I noticed that there is a fire. I presume it's burning off, and I presume it's meant to be burning. It is a surprisingly warm day for this time of year, and it is very windy, which is a bit of a worry. I don't know how well you'll see that, but hopefully it's meant to be like that, and hopefully it doesn't become too serious.
Welcome to another day. For anyone who was worried about Will's footage of the fire there, that would have been a planned burn, which is something that happens throughout this time of year to get ready for summer, so nothing to worry about there. I've just come out there because I've got something to show you, or rather an absence to show you. Ta-da! So you may remember that until recently there was a new generator there, but sadly it didn't work out for us. So the generator's been taken away, our money's been refunded, our money's safely back in the bank. So now we're just going to have to wait till autumn to try again. We pretty much decided that we're not going to go with an option that isn't a generator, because we feel like we'll get more out of a generator than another battery or solar panels. So that's where we're at the moment. I'm just heading down to show you something else, but I'll speed through that so you don't have to listen to me jabber on whilst I get down there. Here we go then. I've been busy. I know I made a bit of a fuss about doing this job, which was clearing the vegetation from this part of the garden, but it was quite a big job, and one that I wasn't looking forward to, but I'm very pleased with what I've achieved. Although it probably doesn't look much different, that's really just because of all this grass and bracken, and once I've got my new tool, that'll make a bit of a difference. As I say, my intention is not to eradicate all of these plants. I don't want this just to be barren wasteland with just some grass, but I did want to get it a bit more under control, and I am happier with how it looks now. Interspersed amongst all of this, there still are quite a lot of plants. I've got some acacias growing up, I've got a bit of tea tree, I've got some of this other type of acacia. I got this plant which looks a bit like buddleia, and obviously I've got all this grass. So I still have a variety of plants, and I still have some cover for animals and blah blah blah, but anyway, it's much improved in my opinion. Now I just need to undertake the finishing touches. Anyway, so I'm off to do something even less fun than that, which is process a bit of firewood for the house. I won't bore you or involve you with that, but I will catch up with you soon. I don't particularly have much on of interest this week, except for the fact I am going to the hairdressers on Thursday to get my hair cut. I'm very much looking forward to that. I like this cut. It's called a French bob, so it sort of comes to mouth level, and it's getting a bit unruly and untidy, so I might bring you along for a bit of before and afters. But aside from that, really it's just pottering about at home. We're looking at getting Will's car, the Brumby, registered properly, which means that we'll be able to drive it on the road, which we currently can't. We've only been able to drive it on the property. So the Brumby is not actually here. It's at the garage getting what's known as a certificate of roadworthiness, otherwise known as a roadworthy, which will then be able to prove to the people who allow us to drive the car on the road that it's safe to drive on the road. It's a bit of a protracted process, but anyway, I'm without the Brumby for the foreseeable, so I'm just doing what I can with the old school equipment that I have to hand. So there's not much else of interest, I think, that's happening at the moment that I can share with you. But anyway, I will catch up with you presently in a day or two's time, I expect, and we'll see what's happening then. Actually, I was just walking past the library building, and look at this. Some bloody animal's been hacking away at this bank. I've got no idea what would have done that. It sort of looks like a kangaroo or wallaby, but I don't know why. You'd expect a wombat probably, but look at that. Just goes to show you just can't keep anything nice here. The animals here are different.
I'm here in the shearing shed of a neighbouring farmer. I gave him a hand dealing with some sheep who had to be disposed of, and in return he said that I can have the skins, which is a little bit grim, but these could potentially make very nice rugs or Ugg boots perhaps, or even a jacket. So I'm going to have a go at tanning them. I've never done that before, but I'll see how I go. Here are some more who may also end up as skins. Poor things. Hello. They're really very friendly animals. One of them apparently is a bit lame. Anyway, I'm going to take the skins and go home and see what I can do with them. Well, there are the hides, or the skins, laid out with salt on them. I think I will need to get more salt. That's probably not going to be enough. And it's not really the ideal spot for them, but I needed to get them laid out as quickly as I could. So that's the first step of many in having some nice sheepskin products. I am here at the beach, as you can tell, on this rather blustery day, and I have come across this, which may well be the vertebrae of a whale. You can tell based on the size of my hand just how big this this bone is. It's an extraordinary thing. I'm no marine biologist, but I'm guessing that this may well be from a whale. It's rather beautiful. It's the only evidence of whale that I have seen on this beach so far. I'm currently processing the sheepskins, removing the flesh, which is an important part of the process and is really difficult. The membrane and flesh and fat do not want to come off. I watched quite a few videos on YouTube explaining how one goes about doing it, and you can use scrapers and knives and other tools. Somebody told me that you can rub the flesh with a brick and that will do it, and I'm sure it will, but it really doesn't want to come off, and I found far and away the best method is to use an angle grinder or a drill with a wire wheel, which I was also using. It's really hard. It doesn't want to come off, and it doesn't stink, but it does smell strongly of lamb fat, which I suspect I'll smell of for quite some time to come. But at least the sun is out, which is nice, and I'm just going to continue grinding away at this until all the membrane and fat and flesh is removed from this hide.